Friends, welcome to my workplace at Ranaghat, West Bengal, India. This is a cataract with grade 3 nuclear sclerosis. Let us observe this surgery. This is the main incision with a 2.8 millimeter steel keratome on the posterior aspect of the limbus. And now this is a side port on the right side of the main incision. And this is another side port on the left side of the main incision. An air bubble is then injected to fill up the anterior chamber. Underneath this air bubble, trypan blue dye is then applied over the anterior capsule. The dye is then washed out using a 23G Simcoe cannula. And now, the anterior chamber is filled up with 2% hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. Here it goes. The methyl cellulose is applied over the corneal epithelium. It improves the visibility to a great extent. And now watch capsulorhexis with the help of the Utrata forceps. Scratch onto the anterior capsule, get a capsular tag, hold the tag, go anticlockwise all around, remaining at a certain distance away from the margin of the dilated pupil, and thus get an adequate sized rhexis of about 5.5 millimeter. And now hydrodissection. BSS is passed just underneath the anterior capsular rim and the nucleus is stabbed. In this case, the nucleus didn't rotate nicely. Yes, now it rotated. Some more visco to fill up the anterior chamber, and then the tip of the phaco needle goes in. It goes in bevel down, some superficial cortical lens matter is removed, and in this case I tried to chop the nucleus into fragments with bevel down. But I couldn't get a nice division. It was a nice crack, and now I tried to get another piece, but it is not a free piece. And now along the initial crack I tried to separate the heminuclei, but I was not successful. Now I make the bevel off, go to the other heminucleus, and now I could get a nice free fragment, and next one is also free, and I could emulsify and remove these two fragments. And now with the bevel facing the lens mass, I could get the nuclear material and chop the nuclear material, emulsify the nuclear material. And now I find there is a thick sheet of epinucleus, and this is a piece of nucleus. So making the bevel down, I just removed the nuclear piece, and now this is removal of the epinuclear sheet, and I see that there is no cortex left, not even a single fiber of the cortex is left. So I inject visco, and in this case I didn't have to enlarge the main wound because this is a 2.2 millimeter compatible cartridge. This is from Hoya, and this is a hydrophobic acrylic single piece monofocal intraocular lens going into the capsular bag. This preloaded system is Probably the best on in the IOL industry. Beautiful from Hoya. No financial interest, but I like to appreciate good things. And now the visco filling up the anterior chamber as well as the capsular bag is to be removed nicely. Unless we remove this visco, giving some quality time, the retained visco may cause raised IOP, raised intraocular pressure, and the patient may have even pain in the night. And the patient may have steamy corneal edema next day, which can give rise to blurred vision. So we must remove the visco very nicely. After using Simcoe cannula for some time, this is bimanual irrigation aspiration. The irrigating cannula is irrigating BSS in the anterior chamber. Now it goes behind the IOL and irrigates the capsular bag very nicely. So this is a thorough removal of viscoelastic substance. Now irrigation and aspiration is used together, 300 vacuum and 30 flow rate. After a thorough cleaning of the visco, this is a bit of moxifloxacin, and now these side ports are to be closed. PSS is used to hydrate corneal stroma on either side of the stab incisions, and thus these side ports get closed. And now we are towards the end of the surgery. This is the final lavage of the anterior chamber with a 23G Simcoe cannula. I like to form the anterior chamber with 23G Simcoe in this way and then conclude the case. Integrity of all the wounds are checked. Few drops of moxie is applied over the ocular surface. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope this video will help you in developing your surgical skills. Be a great surgeon and serve the mankind with love, respect, compassion, and great surgical competence.